In 7 months down the line, they call me Tony Mwirigi, aka the celebrities host. Welcome to the morning show. This is Amka Kenya hapa. Tunasema kama today is the end of the month of July. Na karibu sana of this amazing show. 4 hours of amazing conversation from news, social conversation, entertainment, business na sport. Siko peke yangu kama kawaida. Niko na gang yangu hapa. Niko na mtoto wa kike wa Tanzania. Remy, good morning.
Good morning, Tony. Yeah. My name is Remy Majala. Thank you so much for joining us today on Amka Kenya.
And I am Theo Masharia. Remember, this is Amka Kenya, where we give you a head start every other working day. And this show is also live on our social media platforms. You can begin interacting with us as early as now. Let's get it going.
And now, before we get it going, allow me just to pose this question to Remy, not Theo, because tomorrow it's a big day to Gen Zs, because tomorrow we have a very big day. Ask what will be happening tomorrow.
What will be happening, Tony?
On 3rd of October, we always celebrate World Boyfriend's Day, 3rd of October. But in 1st of August, huwa tunasherehekea World's Girlfriend's Day.
Oh, your girlfriend will be very happy.
No, not my girlfriend. But I want just to get a picture in 30 seconds, all right? Wakati wako ukiwa msichana mdogo. How was it? Something memorable ambao nakumbuka.
Sijatoka kwa yo usichana, hata kama mimi ni mama na watoto.
Okay.
Hapo bado.
But I want to get the era yako when you were in our age, Gen Z, 20s. How was it?
It was fun in what sense, though? You
like,
have to be
how do you
specific.
celebrate? How are you celebrated during Girlfriend's Day?
Oh, flowers, chocolate, you know, movies and stuff. Like, it's a constant, you know.
Well, mtazamaji, leo from
type of stuff.
Kabisa, from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Amka Trento, we shall be talking about that. You guys are going
to be celebrating.
But huyu nitamuuliza baadaye, because mimi na tuko in the same group.
The same Uber. We are driving the same Uber.
Got you.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's get it.
Indeed, we have such an action-packed show this morning. Now, Amka Kenya is always here to give you a head start, all right? And on Politalks this morning, we are going to sit down for a one-on-one session with Dagoretti North Member of Parliament, that is Beatrice Elachi, from dealing with cyberbullying to broad-based government. We will be asking her, is it politics or politricks? This conversation will happen at 7 a.m. But just before we get to Politalks on Amka 20 Viral, we'll be having Bosco Curia, who will be joining us to dissect issues making headlines on our press review segment this particular hour. Now, you want to stay tuned for this engaging conversations.
Right, and on Amka Vibe Check, we speak to the director of the renowned Kifo Kisimani play, Martin Kigondu, which echoes the different facets of a society. Stay tuned for that.
Mtazamaji, kuanzia saa 3 asubuhi mpaka saa 4 leo tutakuwa tuna highlight plans ambazo vijana nchini Kenya wako nayo kwa ajili ya siku ya kesho. Kesho ni siku kubwa sana, because tomorrow it is National Girlfriend Day, which is celebrated on the Friday, that's tomorrow, the 1st August of every year. Sasa from 9 to 10, mimi na gang yangu, we shall be just getting to know more about what are the plans ambazo sisi vijana tumepangia wasichana wetu siku ya kesho. Lakini pia kumbuka kuna biggest story, reaction za celebrities on Nakada. Kumbuka jana ilikuwa kumewaka moto from 2 p.m. when Nakada will release that statement on the proposals za kuban celebrities and so and so. So from 9 to 10, we shall be having that story and more other stories from the entertainment world.
All right. And still on that line, just you're building on that line, which Tony has just talked about. Now, the National Authority for the Campaign Against Alcohol and Drug Abuse, that is NACADA, has clarified that the newly launched alcohol policy that has caused a buzz online contains recommendations and it's not enforceable bans, and that the National Policy for the Prevention, Management and Control of Alcohol, Drugs and Substance Abuse of 2025, launched by Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen, seeking to outlaw alcohol advertising, online sales, home deliveries and celebrity endorsements, will undergo proper validation, including public participation and legal regulatory review.
Now, the clarification comes amid public confusion and backlash over perceived restrictions on alcohol access and advertising. Now, in a letter signed by NACADA's CEO, Dr. Anthony Omerikwat, now the authority outlined the next step, which involves the development of a multi-sectorial implementation framework that will have stakeholders from government, industry, civil society, and the public to discuss the proposals.
All right, it is such, how do we put it? it is mixed feelings, because there are people who feel like it is such a timely proposal, whereas others feel it is not as timely as such, because I actually saw someone saying Wakenya wataki pombe iguzwe, especially at a time where disturbing statistics show that over 3 million Kenyans take alcohol, you know, and the number of Kenyans who take tobacco stand at 2 million, and also cannabis, that is weed, over 500,000.
Among the proposals ambazo nakala they are trying to put, kitu ambacho kinashangaza Wakenya wengi ni ile proposal ya kuweza kuongeza drinking age of beer from 18 years to 21 years. They are saying at 18 years in Kenya, you can marry, you can vote, you can do many things. You can do uamuzi kama mtu mzima, but at where are we limiting now? You can just drink beer at the age of 21 years. Some of the reactions are Kenya, but now kitu ambacho vijana wengi inawauma ni hiyo proposal ya kwamba you want to ban celebrities from advertising pombe. And
before you even continue, Tony, I think the perspective here, which I saw with the different conversations, is this a moral issue?
Exactly.
Because this Kenya is not someone's house where one rule fits all, no matter how good it looks like. And also we need to go down to the level where we understand this is an issue, yes, it's actually a very disturbing report, but at the same time, these proposals or recommendations for that matter, how are they, like, how is this going to be implemented and on what? Because it will also affect an aspect of the Constitution. I mean, from a legal age, it was 18 to 21. Are we going to,
exactly?
So there's so many aspects, especially on the moral dynamic.
There was actually a time we were having the debate to increase the age of when you should pick your ID, whether it was between 18 and also 21.
Well, and before we kupitia some comments, because this morning nimekuandalia some of the comments from reactions at Twitter na Facebook, ningependa nikusomee headline this morning ya People Daily ambayo imenifurahisha sana. Inasema kwamba Nakada gets drunk on beer. That's the headline of People Daily this morning. Now, allow me to just read some of the comments this morning in regards to the proposals on Nakada. And here we have some of them. We have GAT254 says, why can't you guys regulate hours, not location? Smart IDs or tech-based age verification, licensing review, not distraction, education and job programs to prevent alcohol misuse at the root, crackdown on acid brews, not legal revenue generating businesses. That's a comment from GAT254 in regards to Nakada proposal siku ya jana msemaji. Then we have a comment from Charles Wanjoya ambaye anasema kwamba these policies of yours will render many young people 18 to 21 years, probably the majority working as waiters, waitress in clubs, jobless. Where will they go? That's a question. Into crime? Huu ni upuzi wa hali ya juu. That's a comment from Charles Wanjohi kuhusiana na mapendekezo ya Nakada. Let's take a look at the next comment. That is Charles Wanjohi. Next one from Sir Gilbert says, all this proposal have no benefits. What's wrong with supermarkets selling alcohol? They don't sell it to under 18s. What's wrong with with deliveries? You want Kenyans to always go out, drink, and drive home? That's a reaction comment from Sir Gilbert. And now let's we have a couple of them, but we shall be reading them as we continue this show. Like in Remy and Theo, this is a very great conversation that today we shall be talking about, because at the end of the day, if this proposal zitakuwa published into law, right? That's the process. Itaumiza vijana wengi ambao they are influencers ambao wanafanya advertisements online, and this comes 2 weeks or 2 months from whatever the betting, right? What happened some few days ago, vijana wa Gen Z, influencer, they won't be allowed to advertise the betting and so on. So
alcohol.
This will be a biggest blow if it are implemented.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a developing story that indeed we'll be bringing you up to speed as the day continues to unfold. And also this morning, other things that you need to be aware of is this morning, the case involving former KDF officer and U.S. Army veteran by the name Patrick Osoi continues today at the Kahawa Law Courts as investigations dig into his alleged role in forming an armed group to confront police brutality. Authorities claim Osoi co-founded a movement dubbed FBI that is fighting brutality and impunity, and was actively involved in recruiting both serving and former security officers to resist unlawful state orders.
Now, prosecutors are seeking 14 more days to probe possible possession of firearms and links to terrorism. Also, his videos have since gone viral, attracting over 400 comments, 900 retweets, 3,900 likes and over 260,000 views. And the DCI has expressed fear that this could mobilize masses, including hostile actors, to engage in unlawful activities.
All right, that's a developing story that Trust K24 TV to update you with this story as it unfolds. And also to some other story that has created a buzz online, diplomatic ties. Kenya's Trade Cabinet Secretary, that is Lee Kinyanjui, breathed fire while calling for Tanzania to withdraw the new directives it issued banning non-citizens from operating 15 types of small and medium-sized businesses. CS Kinyanjui now warns that imposing similar sanctions for Tanzania were on the table if diplomacy talks fail.
Now, in a Gazette notice dated July 28, 2025, Tanzania's Trade Minister Selemani Jafo said no foreigner will be issued or renewed a license for businesses, including mobile money services, electronic repairs, tour guiding, TV and radio operations, and museum shops. Now, thousands of Kenyans-owned businesses in Tanzania are now in limbo. Kenya's Foreign Affairs CS Musalia Mudavadi has termed the action far-reaching and as a violation of East African Community trade agreements, confirming it is under President Ruto's review.
Kenyans are angry. Kenyans are saying, why is it that we are being judged for being hardworking? Because Kenyans are the most hardworking people. You know, there's a report recently that showed we are the most hardworking people. And when you see some of the businesses that are being targeted in Tanzania, including retail shops, managing homes, even
home and office and environmental cleanness.
Exactly.
We have small-scale mining, postal activity and parcel deliveries, tour guiding within the country, establishment and operation of radio and television. But now, I saw a comment. Now, people are saying Kenyans will be affected by number 13, which says on-farm crop purchasing operations.
on-farm crop
On-farm crop purchasing operation.
And actually, there's also a very big question because Kenyans are like, why don't we hit back? You know, tit for tat, an eye for an eye. People are actually giving pressure to the Cabinet Secretary for Trade to also do the same to, you know,
Tanzania.
Here in Kenya, but it's like they are trading carefully.
Yeah,
you know.
But remember, all this came, in my perspective, from, you know, the aspects of the activism cases when we had the Kenyans, Martha Korir, Boniface Mwangi, Agatha Tuhaire, and the like, you know, when they went to, you know, just be part or, you know, hear out in the Lucy's case, and then we saw what happened. And there's been an escalation of different things up until the other day, Mwabili Mwagodi having been abducted.
Now, someone here was posing a question about maybe our professor here, Theo, can just tell us, what's the role of EAC?
East Africa Community, it is just to ensure there's good integration between the East African
With everything that's happened from
And
this
rules
story.
and regulations, we're free to move around.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
right. Let's move on with, of course, the next alert that you need to know that's happening this morning. Now, Stephen Munyaho, the Kenyan who spent 13 years on death row in Saudi Arabia, is set to address the media for the first time since his return home on Tuesday. Now, the press briefing will take place today at his family home in Katani, Nairobi, I beg your pardon, from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m.
Right now, Munyaho, the firstborn son of veteran journalist Dorothy Kweyu Musopole, left Kenya in 1996 to work in Saudi Arabia as a warehouse manager. Now, in 2011, a workplace altercation turned fatal, leading to the death of a Yemeni national or Yemeni colleague. Initially, Munyaho was sentenced to 5 years for manslaughter, and his sentence was later escalated to death following an appeal by the victim's family. He spent over a decade in prison, most recently at Shimeishi prison in Maka, before being released after the family accepted a compensation of 150 million shillings. His briefing today will be his first public statement since regaining his freedom. My director the other day told me it's not Munyaho, it's Munyaho. She said, There she goes.
Yeah.
Sema unalegeza
So lazima
unalegeza ulimi kidogo.
KH na O isikike.
Ndio hiyo.
Hebu iseme tena?
Iko silent.
Munyaho.
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 All right, now with all this that is happening with Munyaho, now watu bado wanazidi kuraise maswali of what about the Kenyans who are abducted in Tanzania and so and so. Even someone here was asking, and what about the abduction which has been happening in Tanzania? Are those not Kenyans? Maswali mengi mzamaji kuhusiana na the case ya kina Boniface Mwangi na wengi sana ambao they were abducted in Tanzania then kupatikana. That's a question ambao Kenya wanauliza in regards kwa story ya Munyaho.
All right, and also the question about 1,000 other Kenyans in other countries facing a similar situation that was facing Stephen. Let's also take this one. Civic Society address on abuse of terrorism law will be meeting today at midday. There will be a meeting today at midday between the High Courts of Kenya and the civil societies as they engage in prevention of violent extremism and terrorism, highlighting the abuse or prevention of terrorism laws to achieve political objectives. That's a developing story that we'll be updating you as the day continues to unfold. There's also this one here by rice farmers, and Remy is going to bring us up to speed.
Right now, rice farmers have opposed importation of 500,000 metric tons of rice by the government by the end of this year, stating that the move will have a negative impact on their produce. Now stored at various rice growers multi-purpose cooperative society, of course, orders due to lack of market, adding that the former regime used to buy rice from farmers before importing.
All right, and now the farmers say this is a daylight betrayal after earlier on the year, the Director General of the Agriculture and Food Authority, AFA of Kenya, visited Mwea and assured the over 8,500 farmers that all the rice available in their stores will be following a bumper harvest last season will be bought by the Kenya National Trading Corporation and payment processed promptly.
Yes, mzamaji, and now just from that 5 things allow us this morning we pose for you question of the day. Remember mzamaji, nakwambia kwamba just a clarification ni kwamba NACADA haikuweza kuban. Those were just the proposal. Yesterday tulikuwa na reports nyingi which were going on social media and so in regards to the proposal. Remember, it is just a proposal. The sale of alcohol in supermarket and so it wasn't banned. They are just trying to propose, all right? Now, swali la siku mzamaji this morning tunakuuliza, you can be part of this amazing conversation. Tutumie feedback yako on hashtag that is Amka Kenya. Kila mahali at Theo, at Remy Majala, at K24, at Tony Mwirigi. Alafu utuambie maoni yako ni yapi mzamaji kuhusiana na swala hili la NACADA, and what's your take on NACADA's proposed alcohol sale regulations. Tuambie mtazamaji, una maoni gani kuhusiana na mdahalo huu mzima? Kumbuka Wakenya wengi wametoa maoni yao kuanzia jana kuhusiana na swala hili, wasanii, vijana, Wakenya wote mbalimbali kuhusiana na mapendekezo ambayo NACADA inajaribu kutoa kuhusiana na kutouza vileo kwa baadhi ya maeneo tofauti, kuongeza unywaji wa pombe au uuzaji wa pombe ama drinking age kuanzia miaka 18 hadi 21. Na ndio maana asubuhi ya leo ndani ya Amka Kenya mzamaji tunakuuliza kwa njia ya kipekee, be part of this amazing conversation. Tutumie feedback yako, tuambie what is your take on NACADA's proposed sale on sale regulation. Mzamaji tuambie this morning, then later on we shall be reading your comments. Remember, yesterday was the launch of 2025 policy on substance abuse. Ni event ambayo iliongozwa naye Waziri Kipchumba Murkomen siku ya jana ndani ya the launch of 2025 policy on substance abuse. And one more time, allow me to pose for you the question of the day. And here we have a comment from George Ngare who says, swali ambalo nimejiuliza hata mwenyewe. In Kenya, you can get an ID, vote and get married at the age of 18 years and above. However, you cannot buy or take alcohol. How does that sound? Remember, these are just recommendation ambazo serikali inajaribu kupendekeza ya kwamba drinking age ikuwe pushed from 18 years to 21. But for a matter of clarification, bado haijakuwa passed. They are called recommendation. But now kwa kizungu, sijui kama mtanieleza, kuna tofauti kati ya policy na recommendation?
I think they mean the same thing. A policy is something that should guide you on something, and also it sounds like a road towards something.
Okay.
I mean, it's just the same thing, a policy and a recommendation. Just like the way we have a budget policy statements that guide us towards the process of making the budget.
Remi anakaa kama anapinga?
No.
Uko sawa? All right.
Okay, before we even continue, let's make sure that our guest is also tasked to, bring us to light. I want to welcome to studio Bosco Mutegi-Kyura, political analyst and governance expert. Bosco, thank you so much for being here. Before I give my perspective on what I believe a recommendation or a policy is, I think you can give us your perspective on the same before we go into looking, into the papers.
So thank you very much for the invite to contribute to this very important national issues. And on the issue of alcohol, the recommendations that have been made, I think what the government is trying to do is to protect the young people, is to protect the youth, and these are just recommendations. They need to go through our constitution in Article 232 1D talks about involvement of the people in making policy. So I think this needs to go through public participation to hear the views of the people so that now we can be able to have a all-inclusive agenda or policy or law at the end of the day.
Got you.
Yeah.
That's what.
That's what we were looking for.
All right, either way, yes. Go ahead, Pierre.
All right, and Bosco, this morning, a lot of people are saying, just as you have said, it is a good move towards trying to protect the young people. But again, the question of job losses comes into the picture. We have like over 1.3 million people who are going to lose their jobs. So how do we strike the balance between ensuring the 1.3 million jobs are not lost, and at the same time, still our young people are protected?
Yeah, I agree with you. This is going to rattle different people the wrong way. This is a very big industry. If you have observed our budgets previously in the previous years, this is one of the areas the government has always gotten taxes, and the huge taxes from in our government or in our economy mostly comes from alcohol industry or alcohol related, be it clubs, be it the supermarkets that are selling that and all that. So because why I'm saying that is because when you look at the budget, the government has always been increasing taxes of alcohol year in, year out. So it's something that is going to affect many people in a whole economy. And so it needs to be carefully implemented, and that's why I said we need to involve each and every person to hear their voice before we now come into legislative or making the laws.
Right, and that's one of the biggest stories, Tony.
Let's take a look here at kichwa cha habari cha gazeti nambari 1 nchini mtazamaji. This is the People Daily news that moves with you. People Daily headline inasema kwamba Nakada gets drunk on beer. They says agency sets out tough rules that could not only criminalize alcohol but also kill the industry. Of course, that's a question ambayo pia umeuliza because kuna watu wengi sana ambao wanatarajia kupata kazi from this biggest industry. That's the headline on this story. Pia kuna story ambayo inahusisha Morara Kebaso hapo. Page 4 of People Daily talks about how a new breed of leaders is shaking Kenya, among other stories that we'll be talking this morning. But now here is the biggest story ambayo tunaongelea. Maybe just to hear from you. Sheria ambazo serikali inajaribu kuimpose kwa dakika moja before we go for a short commercial break, it affect vijana wengi sana, na wanasema kwamba watahusisha public before make a decision. But of course, before clarifying that statement jana jioni, of course washaona public vile react. Do you think kuna haja zaidi tena ya kufanya ground activation na kujua?
Asante sana kwa hilo swali. Kwa maoni yangu naona kwamba mwanzo hili swala mostly ujue serikali kwa sasa iko na issues na agency, na ukiangalia the biggest population which has been affected na these policies are the agencies, because we are talking about increasing the age from alcohol usage from 18 to 21. So naona kwa maoni yangu naona kwamba hili jambo ni jambo ambalo hawa vijana pia ni wakati sasa tuwe na dialogue na wao, waelewe kwa nini hili linafanyika na what is the impact at the end of the day.
Bosco, allow us just hold it right there. Let's take this break and then we come up with a continuation of that. With us in studio is Bosco Mutegi-Kyura, who is a political analyst. This morning here on Amka Kenya Viral.